What's up, guys? I'm CandidCrandell, and today I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars Season 4, Episode 20, Free Fall. As per usual, if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want anything to be spoiled for you, pause this video right now because there will be spoilers. Normally an episode that is filled with this much Ezra would make my heart pitter-patter, but this one made it sink and break. Spencer wakes up in Ezra's classroom reading Allie's diary, sitting at his desk. Okay, Spencer, gotta be a little bit more careful than that. If you think this dude is A, you cannot be falling asleep in his classroom reading the diary that you stole from his desk. I actually think when Ezra confronts Spencer that he is legitimately concerned for her. It seems like from Spencer's perspective, because she thinks that he's A, that he's threatening her and like, oh, you're going down a very dangerous path, when in reality, if he's just talking about her drug use, then that all applies too. Spencer's gym locker outfit. Ezra talks to Aria about his concerns about Spencer. There is part of me that wants to believe that he truly does want what is best for Spencer and he's legitimately concerned about her because, yes, there is something to be concerned about, certainly. But there was a little bit of creepiness, especially when he hands Aria the file to prove it that says that Spencer had a problem with this 2 years ago and her parents had to get the school to help out. That seemed a little weird because he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm willing to break the rules if it means helping Spencer, and like, came off a little bit manipulative. Also, I think it's interesting that Spencer had this problem with the drugs 2 years ago, which could explain why Spencer was awake the night that Allie disappeared when the other girls weren't. The girls have been avoiding Aria all day because they don't want to tell her what they think they know about Ezra, and then Aria finds them and tells them what Ezra said about Spencer, and she's got the paperwork to prove it. So the girls decide that they need to have an intervention for Spencer. When the girls do confront Spencer about her drug problem, Spencer's response is to yell at Aria that Ezra is A. Spencer, even if Ezra is actually A, you are playing into his trap where he is getting Aria on his side and turning her against you. Spencer even kind of realizes this. She's like, oh my god, this is brilliant. He's completely undermining my credibility. He's making me look crazy. He's not really making you look crazy. You're doing some crazy stuff in order to figure him out, and it's just all coming back on you because now you're being looked at. Spencer makes a comment to Aria about how this is the same kind of deer in headlights look that almost got you shot in the back of a nightclub. She follows that up immediately with, point is, I'm not crazy. Okay, Spencer. Spencer's purse spills and out comes one of the Ren Kingston prescription pads that we saw a couple episodes ago. Who put it in there? That's what I'm wondering. Mona and Mike are on a date and I kind of actually don't totally hate that. I'm just glad she's not with Ezra. That's really all I cared about, as we all know. But Ezra does come and interrupt Mona's date and it is super awkward, especially I would feel like from Mike's perspective, because remember, Mike knows that Ezra and his sister have had a thing. I mean, he punched Ezra in the face once over that whole thing. So when Mona's like, oh, I just have to go ask Mr. Fitz a question, I'm sure Mike's just like, what is it with these girls and Ezra Fitz? He's gotta be wondering at this point, right? Mona tells Ezra that she can't help him anymore, which is proof of what we've all been thinking for the past couple weeks now, that Mona has been helping Ezra somehow. She says that it's gotten too complicated, but Ezra says that it's always been complicated, and that she can't back out now, especially when he needs her help. So the question is, what does Ezra need Mona's help for? And what has she been helping with in the past? Hannah thinks Aria is addicted to Ezra. I think she's right, and who can blame her? Spencer gives Hannah her remaining pills in an effort to show them that she has this under control and she doesn't need help. From Allie's journal, one of the things that was changed was the location Ambrose Pavilion. So they decide to try to beat Ezra at his own game by tricking him into thinking that they are meeting up with Allie at Ambrose Pavilion to give her the money that Shauna was not able to get to her. In order to do the sting operation at Ambrose Pavilion, Spencer cancels her plans with both her mom and Toby, using each other as the excuse, which I feel like is never a good idea. Ezra tells Arya that he thinks that they need to tell Spencer's parents about her drug problem. He thinks that Arya should do it so that he doesn't have to get involved, because if a teacher has to get involved, it becomes way more complicated. Which is interesting because it kind of reminds me of the type of morality play that A would throw at the girls. Your friend is doing something wrong, and so their parents need to know about it. Ezra makes a comment about Spencer, saying that seeing a motorcycle helmet and a tattoo was enough to completely unravel her. He's talking about when she thought she found Toby's body in the forest. Which is weird, because why would he know that? And Arya finally picks up on that and is like, how do you know that? I don't think that was in any of the reports. And he's like, oh, you must have told me. I think that maybe Ezra was the body lying in the woods. It could have very well been Ezra with the helmet on and like just like a temporary tattoo drawn onto him. But why would he have done that? Like, why would he be involved in that? The fact that he knows that is sketchy though. He probably had a camera in the freaking woods and watched the whole thing. Spencer tries to refill her prescriptions as her mom, again, by calling the doctor's office. Arya goes to the cabin to investigate, and there's like an electronic alarm system protecting the house now. I don't know if that's been there the whole time. I guess it's probably new ever since the quote-unquote break-in that happened. If the cabin is for Ezra and Arya, why wouldn't Ezra have told Arya the combination to it? She clearly has to go through and try several, and then she tries B26, which it is, and she smiles, and I don't know that she should be smiling, because I'm still not sure that that poem is about her. Like, if you think about the timeline, that would have had to have gotten published really fast. It could have been about Allison, and if it's about Allison and he's using a passcode from a poem that's about Allison for a cabin that's supposed to be for him and Arya, that's just upsetting on a lot of levels. Mrs. Hastings gets a call from the doctor's office saying that they would be more comfortable if Spencer came in instead of writing her another refill. Hannah and Emily go to the Ambrose Pavilion at Norristown Zoo, and guess what Ambrose Pavilion is? A freaking reptile house, of course. Of course it has to be a reptile house. I'm with Hannah on this one. Ugh. I don't care that they're behind glass. I don't trust that at all. Arya is looking around the cabin and she finds the basement. Yeah, but she goes down into it and looks around and it just looks like a bunch of junk, like I predicted a couple weeks ago. Ezra's 3-screen computer desk and everything is no longer down there, which is weird. Where is it now? Arya comes back upstairs from the basement and she finds a book on the table that's called Carnivore's Delight. That's kind of weird. Like, why would Ezra have a Carnivore's Delight thing when he dates a vegetarian? She opens up the book and it's cut out inside and there's like a draft of a book. Lies were like oxygen to Allison. The first thing that she ever told him about herself was a lie. She could lie while she was laughing or while she was kissing you. All in that paragraph, we know that Ezra knew Allison. He definitely had a relationship with her and she probably lied about her age. Not happy about that. I would be fine if Allison De Laurentiis didn't come back. She needs to not be messing up Ezra. I can't have that. I can't have it. Spencer is supposed to be at the Ambrose Pavilion and putting on a blonde wig and pretending to be Allie. So when a blonde girl shows up, Emily and Hannah think it's Spencer. But then Spencer shows up and needs help with her wig. So who is this other blonde girl that was at Ambrose Pavilion? Ezra was the one who heard Emily on the phone, so whoever was there is working with Ezra. My guess would be Mona. It can't possibly be Ezra because he's at the cabin where Arya is. He comes into the cabin and he finds Arya's keys, so he knows that she's there. Arya gets to her car, tries to escape, and realizes that she left her keys in the cabin. So she makes a run for it through the woods, and of course, Ezra follows her. I don't want it to be sketchy, but I don't know how a guy chasing a girl through the woods is not sketchy in some capacity. Ezra is so smart though. When Arya is not responding to him when he's calling out to her, he just calls her phone. Lo and behold, she hasn't turned it on silent, so it rings so he can hear which way to go in. I would think that by now that when these girls are doing any kind of recon or anything, that they would turn their phones at least on vibrate. Maybe even silent when you're doing some real snooping because you don't want to get caught. Arya sees a sign for a ski lift and sees that there's still 5 minutes left of it being open, so she of course makes a run for the ski lift. Why wouldn't you want to get on a ski lift that's about to close in 5 minutes? Ezra catches up to Arya at the ski lift and gets on with her, and they start going up. So now she's trapped with him and they have to talk. The girls get trapped in the reptile house. Ooh, I would just be so freaked out. I can handle all of the other like creepy stuff that A throws at them, but like the reptile house, no ma'am, can't do it. The ski lift stops in mid-air, of course, because it was 5 minutes away from closing. So Arya and Ezra are now trapped on a ski lift hanging over some mountain. I don't like this at all. Ezra says that he really wants to explain to Arya that he wanted to explain several times. His explanation, should we choose to believe it, is that he did know Allison and that he had a relationship with her. He met her in college and she lied about her age and he believed her. He never tried to hurt Allison, but that he was writing a true crime book about her disappearance. So he's been writing a book. He's an investigative reporter, so maybe he's not evil, maybe he's not A. I want to believe it. We also find out that he knew the girls. So that first scene where he is meeting Arya in the bar, he knows who she is and he takes the opportunity. That to me is a little weird and conflicts a little bit with the fact that when he sees her in his class, he acts all surprised that she's there, especially when he's saying in this episode that like he knew who all of the girls were, and that was why he decided to teach at Rosewood so that he could get closer to them and find out more information for his book about Allison. Then if he knew who Arya was when he saw her in the bar, that means he knows that she's underage, so then he willingly made out with a girl that was in high school when he knew that he was going to be a teacher at that high school. Like that, it was a little sketchy to me. So she thinks that he was just using her, and he swears it started out as him doing research and he didn't know that he was going to fall in love with Arya and that he's lied about a lot of things, but he's never lied about his feelings for her. I want to believe that. I really do. I want to so bad, but I don't know if I can. I am hesitant. I just hope that he also doesn't still have feelings for Allison, and that if Allison comes back, that's going to throw all kinds of other things into craziness. He stopped writing the book when things with him and Arya got serious. He could just be saying that. We have no idea. He started writing the book again when him and Arya broke up, and that's when he found out that Allison was still alive. I guess he knows a lot more than everyone else does because he's known that Allison was alive since when him and Arya were broken up, which is before the girls even knew that Allison was alive. Ezra tells Arya that he will burn the book and that they never have to talk about it again. He'll never release it. No one has to see it. No one has to know about it. Arya tells him not to, that she wants to read it cover to cover, and he seems to not want that to happen. If it's just a true crime book about Allie's disappearance, why on earth doesn't he want her to read it? Unless there's something in there that he's legitimately trying to protect her from. But it seems like it's for a more selfish, personal reason. They're fighting over the pages and they fall off the ski lift. Of course. No one seems all that concerned about the fact that they've fallen and they're just sitting there. Well, if he's not A, then there's still someone running around these parts, grabbing up things to blackmail people with, so maybe we should be a little bit more concerned about that. Mona shows up to hang out with Mike, and Mike says she's late, which I think supports my theory that she was the girl in the blonde wig at the reptile house. Toby is at Spencer's house when she gets home, and he drops off a gift for her, which was supposed to have a dinner with it, but of course she bailed. And Mrs. Hastings is also there, and she is pissed off. Spencer's about to get reamed, but before she gets reamed, she opens up the present from Toby, and it is a gold Scrabble piece necklace with an S on it, which is adorable. Veronica tells Spencer that she knows what she's been up to with the pills. She says that Spencer promised last time and that she and Spencer's father cannot cover for her again, and she doesn't think she can go through this with her again. Arya is pissed off at the end of the episode, and rightfully so. She is questioning everything about her relationship with Ezra. I would too if I were her. I'm hoping that she comes to a conclusion that he was doing this without malicious intent, but I do think that she needs to look into it because it is sketchy and he did lie, and that's not cool. Ezra's just a pretty little liar too. At the end of the episode, someone in a black hoodie and black gloves is picking up the pages of Ezra's book from underneath the ski lift. I wish it was Ezra that was picking those up so that, you know, it wouldn't be an issue, but I think it's getting into the wrong hands and I'm very concerned. Ezra could go to jail because he is openly admitting to a relationship with a, like, what was Allie when she went missing, like 15? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this episode of Pretty Little Liars and what some of your theories are. I would love to discuss them with you. If you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Blogspot, and Instagram, username CandidCrandell. I put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday on my channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again on Tuesday. Bye.